We are live.
We're live.
We're
Woohoo!
live. It's alive.
It's
It's alive.
oh my gosh. I woke up this morning to this text. I'm gonna read it to you. It's
Oh
hilarious.
God, this is gonna be good.
It's not that good, but it's kind of funny. So it's a screenshot
Hmm.
from Grace, and it says she screenshotted something her friend.
Roommate
Your
number
mom,
one.
yes, your mom hasn't posted a podcast in 2 weeks. Tell her that our fans are patiently waiting for an upload.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
Um,
know.
I should send this to you, but we have a flock of chickens as fans, and they listen to us on a regular basis.
A flock of chickens? What is
Yes.
that?
My client is like feeding her chickens, and she said category 4 of your listeners chickens, and she sent me a picture. You're not gonna be able to see it, of her
Oh my gosh.
out with the chickens, and she's like, I listen to you guys when I'm feeding the chickens. So we have chicken followers.
Yay!
They're chick fans.
That's
Isn't that awesome?
hilarious. I know, it's so funny. Oh my gosh.
we have
Oh,
not we have not discussed the email, and we said we were going to.
I know.
So I don't know if we want to do that this time, because we
Sure,
are
we should. Let's
do
freaking
it
let's go through it. Yeah. So, um, okay,
first.
go ahead.
First, we should just open with our define this and our how to, so that
Yes.
people can skip through if they want to go to those sections.
Our define this and our how to is holiday.
Yes,
It's one and the
holiday.
same this week. We're gonna share holidays with you, what we do now, what we did in the cult, what
And
holidays were
then
like in the cult. We'll share some fun stories, do all that. But yeah, it's like it interests some interesting things.
sure.
And yeah,
And
so
then
and then we're
also
gonna share how we do holidays now.
how to holiday after being in a cult with, you
Yes.
know, various smorgasbord of some slightly religious families and some not. So kind of
Yes.
how do you do that? And how do you
I
do it
know.
peacefully?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So that's our segs today.
Yes.
The same.
Holiday, since we're in the holiday season, do you have your tree up yet?
I don't even have room for a tree. I have no idea where I'd put it. I don't know. I might paint one on the wall. That's about it.
I have my tree up. Roommate two's birth date is coming, and so I assumed that it was going to be during, and I'll be distracted. So I already put my all my stuff up because I want to be fully baby whenever it's born. So,
Yes.
um,
The second grandbaby.
yeah. Baby number two. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see what she looks like. I'm so excited. Okay. So let's go over. So we got this email probably a month ago, and it's from roommate one. The OG roommate is how she signed it. So but anyway, she has been, figuring life out and coming into her own with her own opinions and everything. And so
And
uh,
she's a mother.
she is a mother of a 5-year-old amazing child. She's actually a really good mom, but anyway, very different than how I approached motherhood, but it's working amazingly. So anyway, so she said, "Hello. As a listener, I wanted to give you some feedback, and this is regarding episode 9. Okay. On
What
what
was
you had,
episode 9?
what was
I don't even
episode 9?
remember. I'll have to go look.
Yeah, you'll figure it out pretty quick.
Okay.
Uh, what you had said and share my experience, although holding anger and hate is draining. So we were talking about how you just let stuff go.
Yeah.
And how we needed to like let stuff go to move
Move
on or
on.
whatever. Mm-hmm. Although hating and holding hate and anger is draining and making amends with my family members is important. I wanted to share my experience and maybe enlighten y'all on different circumstances where no contact is really important and healthy, which
I know what we're
can
going
be
to here.
a hundred
Yes,
percent sure.
absolutely.
Yes. Um, you touched you touched on sexual abuse and how that is a reason to stay no contact with a family member, and that is completely valid. On the other hand, in my experience, I have family members disrespect my boundaries and did as I was growing up. As a child, my intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical boundaries were abused by a couple of adults in my life while simultaneously being cared for more by them in other ways. It was a total mindfuck, actually. The people that say they love you and show you love also call you names and say awful things to you and around you. This creates a dangerous and toxic dynamic for the child and can be the root of a lot of issues later in life: self doubt, insecurity, shame, self harm, and possibly the worst of all, people pleasing, along with many other issues, which
Yeah,
I get that
absolutely.
100%. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, when you decide to cut off contact, it's not easy and it does hurt, and you have to grieve those people. Grief almost killed me. I have spent a year reflecting and becoming the person I am going to be before they dimmed my shine. Now that I have spent months being myself and not worrying so much about their irrelevant opinions, I can say that this has been the biggest weight off my shoulders. I still have to work on myself, but it's so much easier when you do it for you and not for the evil voices in your head that family can put there. I have so much more peace in my life and about half the anxiety by just removing people from my life. It's not always a grudge or hatred. It can seem like that at first, but some people grow out of the toxicity and are happy. So I think that's totally true.
Well, I
I think,
also think she is setting her boundaries
yeah, no, that's a
by
hundred
cutting
percent what
off
she did.
contact. So
Yes,
that when it becomes that damaging and
yes,
that bad, then you do have to cut off contact, and
mm-hmm.
that is a form of setting boundaries. Now,
Yeah,
I don't think that that's permanent either. And I know that at younger ages, everyone thinks something, drastic is permanent, right?
yes,
But
yes,
I think that that gives both the person who, you know, receives the damage and or, the detrimental behaviors, and the person who is giving them has time to figure out what those are within themselves, like
yeah,
redefining them internally for her,
mm-hmm.
and then also giving the offending family members a chance to understand what it is like without having that person around or being involved. And
Mm-hmm.
then, if in fact, not saying it should happen, not saying it will, but if in fact they
Yeah,
decided at some point to reconnect, then the person who was right inflicted that had that can then understand that there's a little bit more power right with roommate number one, and she gets to define the terms of that relationship on her own without
yes.
having them be the authority in that
Well,
situation.
and I think that's 100% true. You can still love somebody and not um
Be around them.
choose to be around them or interact with them,
Yep.
because if it does mess with your emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not healthy, it's not worth
No,
it.
it's
Yeah.
emotional manipulation, emotional abuse. I mean, it's
Mhm.
all there, and
Well,
it's
and
absolutely okay.
the root of this, which the root of it happened, obviously there was a lot of stuff that went on young, and I didn't even know about most of the things. I've learned about them later, but I think a lot of it started with the Roe v. Wade,
Yes.
and people actually showed a lot of true colors. And she was at rallies and showing support for women and making choices. And not everybody agrees with that. Well, you cannot agree with that and
100%.
not take it out on somebody that
Yeah.
doesn't agree with you. And that happened. Like, they blocked her on social media. They blocked her on all kinds of things. and she's a child, in my opinion. Okay, she's still a child.
She's your child.
She's my child, but she's not the older people are the ones who should have taken the higher ground here and not done that, in my opinion.
For sure.
But at the same time, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But if it's family and you truly love them, why are you throwing such a fit over somebody having a different opinion than you?
Well, and this is something that we're going to be talking about in an upcoming episode, particularly with people who do call themselves Christians.
Yes, that will be our next
and
episode.
that is upcoming. And the reason being is that, if you truly do care about someone, then you allow them to have space for their own opinions and their own belief systems and their own value systems, even if they don't agree with yours. And forcing any kind of that stuff on anyone or penalizing them for having their own is certainly not something that is both human. You have no reason to hate another human being whatsoever. I mean, in most cases, and I was listening to something about this yesterday. We have to wrap this up so we can get going on our episode. But
yes,
there was I'm not going to list it because I'm not going to promote it, but there was a podcast that was talking about whether or not we actually have free will. And the example that was used was a homeless guy and the CEO of a successful company, and that our determination or our way of life, had we switched everything about their lives, meaning, the CEO had a stellar education, he had a lot of opportunity, he had a lot of socioeconomic, already advantages as he was growing up. He went to the best schools, he had the best opportunities, he had all these things given to him. Gale Force winds at his back, right? And the homeless guy had the opposite. He had the complete, not opportunity to good education, not, everything in the opposite, right? Well, if you just switch those, completely, then you would have seen the homeless guy be the CEO and vice versa. So everybody comes from different places in life, and every decision that they make is a part of all of the things that led up to them making that decision. So that's the reason, or the argument for the fact that we don't technically have free will, is because there are reasons why we make each choice. And a lot of those have to do with where we came from, what opportunities we were given, what opportunities we were not. And even though there is some people that have more self-determination than others, but there are advantages that, some people have that others do not. So making these choices to hate or to extinguish people in our lives, or to push them out for various reasons, is not necessarily being true to the fact that they might have made those choices because they had different opportunities not given to them or given to them. So there isn't really any real reason to hate anyone, and I do understand that there are special circumstances like we talked about in terms of, incest, sexual abuse, sexual predator assault, there's a lot of gray area in that regard, because it's like, well, then, you may not be able to come to forgive or forget those major, attacks on you, on your emotions, on your spirit, on your physical body, on your all of those things. But all those choices were made based on where they're coming from, and that doesn't give you the reason, the opportunity, or the even necessity for judging someone else and what they feel or how they're acting. And
for sure,
certainly not reason to disavow a family member. I mean, yeah. So anyway, I think that roommate 4 is doing just fine, and she's going through it. She's in the thick of it right now.
Roommate 1.
Roommate 1.
You said
what did
4.
I say? Oh, sorry. I meant roommate 1.
She is. She's figuring it out, and the time away is good. So
absolutely. Let's her set up her new rules,
Yep. Love it.
Okay, Liz.
Yeah.
Define holiday.
Oh my gosh. So there's so many holidays, right? Not all can be celebrated when you're in a cult. Okay, let's go with
Like
Easter
that
first.
devil's
I'm
holiday.
trying to think. I'm trying to think by way of like, let's go Easter. So the Easter bunny is the devil. I can't remember what they used to tell us, God, about the Easter bunny and what the insignificance of it was. But it was basically like, don't you dare have the Easter bunny because it's about Christ's
Well,
resurrection.
yeah, it detracts
Yes,
from the
it's a
from the holy holiday that was randomly picked by
disruption. Yeah,
someone.
distraction. Yeah, distraction. Okay. Yeah. And then okay, so July 4th, pretty much that's not a bad holiday in a cult.
Well, in our particular flavor.
Yes, version of cult. Yes. Let's see. We've got, I mean, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, those are all celebrated holidays. They were very pro-military for sure, which
Yeah.
I
Very,
think
very
every
patriotic.
person who serves like is amazing.
I think
And
everybody should
um,
serve.
yeah, I
Not
didn't.
necessarily military, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think everybody should
Yes.
be required to do a year or two of civil service, whether
That
it's
would
Red
be
Cross,
amazing. Yeah.
whatever. I think that that would help quite a bit with disparaging viewpoints and beliefs that
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
that just tend to, not make us connect to other humans. I think
Sure.
that would be an absolutely fantastic idea, but nobody
Yeah.
listens to me.
Yes.
Oh, let's talk about the devil's holiday.
Oh my God, the devil's holiday. Okay. That would be Halloween.
We were we
This
were
is 100% a devil's holiday.
oh my
You
god.
were not even allowed to be at home
Nope, you were
because if,
sequestered in the church.
yes, you were to be at the church, watching reruns, or watching old movies. What old movies? What
Well,
was
they
it
allowed
by?
us to do like Looney Tunes, like the black and white Looney Tunes,
Yes.
like really early Looney Tunes.
Yes.
That was like one night out of the year that we got to actually like
Watch.
watch film. Like, and this was
Yes.
on
And
like
it was
reel to
on
reel,
film. Yes.
reel to reel. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then if there was anything inappropriate, so
Oh my goodness.
they
This,
would go through the individual film frames and with a magic marker
yes.
black it out so we could not
Yes.
see like
Yes.
I don't even know what it was because we couldn't see,
Right.
but there was something inappropriate. Who knows? It was most likely sexual inappropriateness. And
Maybe.
maybe, I don't know, it could have been something as benign as like some girl wearing a pair of pants.
Yes. Yes.
And we were not allowed to see that. And then the other things that they would do every once in a while, well, there would usually be a
Don
feature
Knotts.
film, Apple Dumpling Gang. Apple Dumpling Gang rides again. I'm trying to think of anything else, but it was mostly like really old timey.
Don Knotts films.
Don Knotts. There was quite a bit of Don Knotts.
Yep.
I want to say there was another kind of version, like something else similar. Oh, the not the Three Stooges, the
Oh.
comedy. You know what I'm talking about? There was two of them. There was two guys. Man, why can't I think of this? And they would do all these comedy sketches that were no sound. Like there was no it was not the talkies, it was the non-talkies. And the two of them, and then there was the Three Stooges. I do remember we would watch the Three Stooges.
Yep, we did watch a couple Three Stooges.
And so little like comedy sketch things that were like from the 1940s and 50s, I'm guessing. Yeah. And yeah, that was, and oddly enough, on those nights when we were all sequestered in the church is where, some rampant sexual abuse would happen. So,
Right.
Look out for the candy. but you might lose your virginity at 10 or 11. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
that
gosh.
oddly enough, right? Which is
Yeah.
like, what are you protecting us from?
Yeah, because it was total dark, like perfect,
Hmm.
perfect
Hmm.
situation for a sexual predator.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so you were not allowed to be there. Or in Halloween dressing up.
participate
Like
in
any of that
Halloween.
stuff was like super sinful. Like you were celebrating the devil. They literally had us believing that people sacrificed
it
humans and animals like all over the world. Like this is
it
like
was
something
satanic
that happened.
worship.
And I do believe that there's people that do that kind of stuff, but it was like the reality is it's like not something that everybody does, and that's what we were made to believe.
Yeah.
Like this was all going on. You could be kidnapped and like human sacrificed if you
Yeah.
were like, oh my gosh. Crazy. It was like the fear, the fear that they
Oh,
would
that's
push
how
into
people get
you.
controlled. Yes.
Yes. Oh my
Um,
gosh. I remember when my kids got to celebrate Halloween, and it was like literally the funnest thing ever. And I
absolutely.
had a blast making them costumes because, of course, we weren't in the cults anymore. So we could do Halloween, which is literally just like a fun holiday. Um, all my kids love scary shit,
Oh
they're all
yeah.
into it. I am not into scary movies. They're into scary movies. Them and my kids and Randy will go
I
to
think they're
scary movies
hilarious.
together. I don't like them.
I find it
Never
all
been a fan of scary movies. Don't like them
insanely
now. Don't
entertaining
like them then.
and
Nope.
comedic.
Uh,
Um, yeah, and same with me and mine. I mean, we had a blast.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun holiday.
It is a fun
It's
holiday. It is
absolutely
what
kind of
you make it. I
wholesome,
mean, my
right?
gosh.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, in every aspect of it, and like some people get crazy and do stupid stuff, but that's any holiday. And I'm like, no, honestly, it's like think about it because what other holiday do you actually go out and meet your neighbors and like
Right?
socialize with other people? I'm like, it can't get more wholesome than that to like go out and talk to your neighbors,
Yeah.
and have a multi-generational gathering of anyone and everyone,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
um then also we had, so of course, remember, so I'm referencing our sometimes annual treks to California where
Oh,
we were
yeah.
allowed to go for Christmas.
Well, in the early years, it wasn't because we've talked about this, but like the church cult didn't used to be so crazy when we were younger.
As
It
is typical with most cults,
Yes,
they
they
start
get
out
more and more extreme as it
right.
goes on. So it wasn't a permission slip that had to be filled out to go see your family. Um, you just had to get all your bases covered as far as like getting someone to fill in for you at the church and
Right.
that kind of stuff. Your Sunday school classes you taught, or like your choir or whatever, you had to like let everybody know that this
Your
you were going to
duties.
be gone. It was
Yeah.
just like a job, like you have to turn in your notice that you're going on vacation. So when we were young, we would go to California, which is where my mother's family lived, and my grandma, she was like the person. Oh, but yeah, we would do that in the younger years. As we got older, it kept getting denied, so we went less and less, which
So
I think
yeah,
is
as
when grandma started thinking, well, no, grandma believed from a young age that we were in a cult, and she was going to get a call one day that we had all drank the Kool-Aid and died. Like she actually said that
she
to us.
would say that.
She did.
I
She's
miss
like,
her.
oh my God, I'm just so happy you guys aren't there anymore. I was just so afraid I was going to get a call one day that you guys had drank the Kool-Aid and everybody was dead. And I'm like, oh my God. Because, oh my
I'm like,
God,
well, and she did do a lot intervention wise with us.
BRB, someone's at my door.
Okay, well, she did do a lot of intervention stuff with us though, meaning she would help us out financially, she would help us out with getting us out of there on the holidays to come see her and say hi. She would let us watch movies, like she would just sneak it in under my mom's radar and be like, okay, here's some movies. She would slip in Shirley Temple movies because they were still black and white and quote unquote pretty wholesome and benign. Shirley Temple movies.
Oh
She
yeah.
would let us do things like that where she would just sneak it in on the fly. And
Sure.
of course, three children versus mom and grandma. I mean, us three plus grandma ganging
Right.
up on mom. There was no contest. It was like, yeah, well, okay, we'll let them watch a Shirley Temple movie.
Yes.
But yeah, she did a lot for us. But knowing that afterwards, I'm like, why didn't you just come get us? Like, if you thought we were gonna die, right?
Yes.
Why
No,
didn't you?
seriously. I don't
Anyway,
know. I think she was afraid that mom would cut off any relationship because mom was so loyal
well, boundaries.
and brainwashed into that I think, and
She
I don't know. I've never actually asked mom that, but like, yeah, I remember us like crying in a closet one time with our aunt, begging her to let us come live with her. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yep.
I called her several times.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Um, was that Amazon at your door?
No, it was roommate 3.
Oh, okay. Um, so holidays, and then I remember, so we had really no experience with like, so at grandma's parties, my grandmother was a spitfire, and she used to hold holiday parties. She would do a big, huge Christmas party, and
Big production, catering.
huge.
Yep.
I mean, huge,
China.
huge. It was huge.
Okay. Stop. Oh my
But I
God.
remember being exposed to like adults having alcohol.
Oh yeah.
And we had one, you've always got the one uncle. And this is where it started like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And he would just have a bit much to drink. And then he'd just get real friendly,
Mhm.
and not, I wouldn't say like too inappropriate.
Right.
There was never any like hanky panky weird stuff, but
Yeah.
he'd start pinching other people's butts and like kind of getting a little too handsy and a little too, lovey-dovey kind of that way, not in a creepy way, just in like I'm really drunk and I'm gonna be super friendly now way. But I remember being exposed to that like during our holidays growing up. That was
Yeah.
like, what is going on right now?
I know.
You had no idea. You were just like, this is so strange. Why are they acting that way? I'm not sure what's
Yes.
going on right now. And then I
Right.
think I would remember mom saying, just stay close to me. Don't go hang out there.
Yes.
She would just try to like shelter us instead of actually tell us what was going
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Left to figure it out on our own. Anyway, um, well, and that was sort of growing up, and there was always, yes, the one holiday we could not participate in. Anything that was outside of like the Christian approved holidays we could not really
Christmas.
be a part
Christmas
of.
was, well, Thanksgiving was obviously okay. Um, we did Thanksgiving. We didn't even have food for Thanksgiving. I mean, I remember we'd be invited to random people in the church's house for Thanksgiving. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that was pretty much most holidays though. I don't know that we ever really spent any completely secluded because it was kind of another opportunity to reestablish bonds
Yes, yes.
in the community.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think most of them were group
Yes. Well,
oriented.
and Christmas wasn't supposed to be about gifts. It was supposed to be about the birth
Good Lord
of Jesus.
Jesus, Savior,
Yes.
little 7 pound, little 6 ounce baby Jesus in a manger. He's my favorite one. I can't stop. I can't start laughing when I take this.
Okay. Yep. So, but Christmas was, I remember like my mom would try and get us to California for Christmas because she was not going to be able to give us gifts.
Absolutely not.
No. I mean, I remember a couple of Christmases her making us things. We had a Raggedy Ann doll that she made one time.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. It was like a life-size Raggedy Ann doll for our size. It was ginormous.
Not really. I think in hindsight, you'd really not
But I
stick
remember
with
it being big. Yeah.
stick with that.
It probably isn't. It was probably like 2.5, 3 feet tall. But I remember, but I do remember her, because like we were just trying to eat. So gifts was like something that you didn't do. We would make stuff for mom. Um for Christmas, Mother's Day, things like that. I remember us like trying to make stuff. Oh my God, we were horrible.
Cross
Back
stitching,
at those.
cross stitch a little uh
Yes, we did
oven
cross
mitt,
stitch. Oh
oven
yeah, and
mitt,
like crochet. Yeah.
crotcheting. Yeah, we would
Mhm.
crochet a little. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
I
made
never
some
attempted
weird
gloves
things.
or anything, but yeah.
Grandma bought me one year a boom box for Christmas, and I was so excited to be blasting my Christian CDs.
Yeah.
My boom box. Oh my gosh. Oh. But yeah, my grandma would
Forget
always
Careless
get us something.
Whisper. I'm
It
gonna
was
go
never
around the
on
neighborhood with
Christmas if we
Amazing
weren't
Grace.
there. Huh?
I said, forget Careless Whisper. You were about to go around the neighborhood with Amazing Grace.
Yeah. So she like my grandma was like the worst at like on the holiday. So we would always get things after the holiday. She would send us
Oh,
C's
her
candy
timing was
every year.
impeccable.
C's candy. Remember?
Yeah,
We'd get
I
these
cannot stand
suckers.
it to this day.
I know I could eat it every day, but I don't eat sugar anymore. So I will
I
never touch C's
absolutely hate
candy.
it. I think it's the most vile, disgusting thing on the
Oh my God,
planet.
I love
And the
it.
fact that people love it, like, makes me doubt our friendship. I don't get it. I
It's
don't
like,
see it.
oh,
Nope.
anyway, it's mom's favorite.
I don't know. Chris, Mylene, Mandy.
Mm-hmm. They
Yeah.
all love it.
Ugh. Anyway.
I love it. But yeah, it's so full of sugar. Oh my gosh. But anyway, grandma would always send us that. She also used to send us these like tins of peanut butter. I mean, and when I say tins, I'm talking like coffee
Coffee
tins.
can.
Yes, where there's like this much oil on the top, so you had to like mix it. It was like real peanut butter. It was so good. It was like a total treat.
Straight from the factory.
Yep. But our Christmases would always start with like reading the Christmas story. Do you remember that?
Somewhat. But I do remember introducing Macy and her Jewish friend to that story and how
Did you do that with your child?
well, this is where we got it. We got to get into the how to because oh my God, I'm gonna start crying if we start talking about this story. This is the funniest shit. I swear to God, my poor child. Oh, she's not poor. She had so much exposure to so many things. Because I was like, you're not going into the world unknown, like unknowing. Yeah, the Bible story. Yes, we had to do that at grandma's house. I remember.
Oh my gosh, if we were out there for Christmas, we would be like dying to open gifts because my grandma always got us gifts. And my mom would be like, "We have to read the Christmas story before we open gifts so we remember what the meaning of Christmas is."
As if we hadn't heard it about 12
I
times
know.
prior.
Yes. Santa Claus wasn't even a mention. My granddad would always write from Santa, and I just think it just irked my mom.
So did grandma.
She did too.
Yes.
I don't remember that, but I do
They
remember
all tried to
did
carry
that.
on the Santa Claus
Yes, it's like that's
lie
part of that's the
because that's
fun.
kind of the
Like,
fun.
it's the
Like
fantasy,
Santa brought
of
it.
gifts. Yes.
Yeah. But
Oh.
yeah, we'd start with the Bible story. Good reading of what is the meaning and why are we here and what is the purpose of this sacred day. Don't don't let your darker and your deeper vile selves
Okay,
come to the
shut it.
table.
Stop, move on. I'm having PTSD over here.
I was just channeling like, you know, The old revivalists of
Oh
the
my
of the
God.
greater
That's
times in
so
our
funny.
history.
Oh dear God.
Um,
Very funny.
well, the how to now is kind of like, okay, well, what do we do now? Which I feel like we're both pretty traditional now, just like
Yeah.
normal. We're normal-ish.
I
Um,
mean, normal in the world standards,
well,
I
I have
guess,
to tell you
whatever
this.
you want to call normal.
I
I don't
have
know
to
what
get this
normal is.
story off my chest, or I'm just gonna
Okay, tell
giggle
the
about it
story. Tell the story.
until we don't. And then, well, the I think the more important part is like how we do it with other people around
Yeah.
us,
Yeah, yeah.
that don't believe the same or whatever, because that's important. Um, so when roommate four was in high school, her best friend was Jewish, like real Jewish. In fact, up until last year, they were roommates through college. I mean, they worked at the same jobs through high school. They kind of stuck together. And then I drove them to college and, put them in their dorms the first year and all that. And they stuck together um, for a long time. So on the holidays, of course, her friend is Jewish. So uh they would do Hanukkah, which is
Mhm.
very different than, our Christian whatever version of Christmas is.
Sure. Sure.
So we did a teenager exchange program for the holidays. And so roommate four went to her buddy's house for Hanukkah, and then her buddy came to our house for Christmas. So and it was so funny because like the exchange, like from roommate four going to Hanukkah, she came back and I was like, so how was it? How was Hanukkah? And she was just like, there was a lot of singing. That was it. Nothing else. She gave me nothing more. There was a lot of singing.
I will be back
Okay.
again.
Okay. So then her buddy comes over to our house for Christmas, and I made sure to get her, I was like, we're gonna have the whole experience. We're gonna get her a little present so she understands the concept of like giving of gifts, and that, there's nothing attached to it. It's just kind of like a expression of abundance and to celebrate the end of the year, yada yada. So in terms of this, I didn't want to just give her like the commercial Christmas Santa Claus holiday experience. I was like, well, there's a couple different versions of this, and I'm kind of going to show you all of them. So, you can kind of have a better understanding of what it's all about. So I read her and roommate four a portion of the Christmas story from our dear Saint Matthew. I think it was Matthew. I don't remember. Anyway, so I start reading the story and I look up at them both and they're sitting on the couch and they just have these blank stares on their face and they're like, we don't understand a word you just said. And I was like, fair, absolutely fair. That tracks, right? So at that point, I get up and reenact the Christmas story, including what I now know is an Irish Jesus and a pregnant Mary with a balloon in my belly. And we did the whole nativity scene uh, in charade form. And that is my teenager exchange Christmas story, which was absolutely hilarious. Anyway, okay. So, how do you do the holidays when you have a cult upbringing? How do you have a holiday when you have a lot of other people around you, some of which agree, some of which do not agree with either your religious beliefs, your traditions, your holiday celebrations? How do we navigate that now?
I just don't do anything I did.
Just reverse it. Put that thing down, flip it, and
Reverse.
reverse it.
Yes, like literally. I mean, since the kids were little, and we've tried every version of Christmas, like with tons of gifts, with just like two gifts, with like, you know, all of the things. And
Mixing it
I
up.
mean, right now we're at a point where we're not doing gifts, we're doing an experience. So
Mm-hmm.
we're having like a trip. And because
We all need more things.
Nobody needs more things.
Nobody needs more things.
I know. I think when they're little kids, it's fun to buy them
Stop
things
buying
and to
into
do
it.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like my grandkids, of course, I will buy them gifts. But like I want to get them something that they can do too, you know?
Yeah.
And then whenever we for Christmas, my kids are like this year, they're like, are we gonna at least get stockings?
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I'll do stockings because that's kind of my thing. I love to do
Sure.
stockings, but um that's something that I've always done is everyone gets like a really fun stocking and it's sometimes it's like really silly stuff but it's just like fun like the child in you Christmas stuff but then we're gonna have a weekend trip with the whole family so I
Cool.
think that that's gonna be better to for me it's better because you make memories instead of buying crap like seriously
Yep.
like I said, we've done everything. Like one year we didn't do gifts. We went to the Dallas football game, which everybody in my kids had a blast doing that. So I mean, we just do different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's gifts, sometimes it's we change it up. But I honestly don't think that anybody needs anything. And like we're very blessed in that aspect.
Absolutely.
We don't need anything. I mean, of course, there's shit you always want that you don't have, but need actually no.
Right.
Whereas, like when we were growing up, there was things we needed. So, like if you got something you needed, that was like exciting because you weren't gonna get it. My mom would get a sum of money sometimes at Christmas, and we would all go to the dentist. We would go to the doctor. We'd go to the eye doctor.
Get some clothes and new
Get
shoes.
some clothes. Yes. Like things that we were not allowed to have all year.
Well, it's not that we weren't allowed to have them.
Well,
It's that
yes,
mom
we
couldn't
weren't
afford them.
we couldn't afford. Yes, afford is the right word. But we didn't ever have those things. And so mom would always make that a priority when she would get some money at Christmas because her grandmother was very generous lady and she would give money to all of her grandkids every year and my mom was one of them so anyway but for me it's just like Christmas but I love the games like let me tell you the games are where it's at
Like the Hunger Games?
no like Christmas stupid games
Well, we've been pretty good about that too. Every once in a while, well, especially because we all live far away
yes
from each other, we'll do some rando challenge. We have to figure that out this year.
yes
Do a rando challenge that we video share.
uh-huh
And often we do the 12 days of Christmas. Yes, I know it's Thanksgiving. Don't just slide in and tell us all we're doing it wrong because we are very aware it's Thanksgiving. But then we assign each family members or whoever wants to participate a day of Christmas and they have to record them singing it.
yes
And then we compile it at the end of the day and then we have a
got some good videos
we do. We have a family video archive of dumb 12 days of Christmas happening on Thanksgiving. So we'll probably end up doing something like that this year too.
We did it on Christmas last year. We did free frame photos, which were awesome.
Yeah, that was actually really fun. Sarah and I put that one together and that was a blast.
Yep.
We even got Mandy's cat in there, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also so this goes to what sort of I was talking about. There's a how to involved in someone who doesn't really separate the secular from the Christian part of the holiday and how they have a problem seeing like religion and like secularism like butt heads. Okay. We had this conversation yesterday or the day before because we were talking about someone who had an issue with someone who claimed to be Christian doing things that were not Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Do we remember this conversation?
Yes, I remember this conversation.
So this transfers over to holiday stuff too, like where you're, whatever, have your religious ideas about how a holiday should be, right? And then there is a secular aspect. There's secular and religious aspects to most of the holidays here in the United States.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, well, if you're coming out of a cult and you're not sure, well, what's secular, what's religions, what, is okay to do if you're on either end of the spectrums, because there's spectrums, right? But then how do you deal with family members who are kind of caught in between, right? What's the approach?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I don't know. I like it is a fine line. I know my mom struggled with it for us when we were growing up in certain things when family would do that, but also she loved her family no matter what, I think. So that was interesting. But I don't know. Even when I was grown, well, I was already questioning, so that doesn't really count. It's tough to do that. I think you just have to respect and go along with it. And also, it doesn't mean you're a bad Christian if you participate in something fun. Like, it can just be a fun thing, like Santa Claus or like the Easter Bunny or any of those things. Like, it's not negating the fact that you believe that that was when Christ rose from the dead and when, Jesus was born. Like, it's not negating that if you choose to participate in the fun aspects of the holiday, which maybe have made up by a man, but it doesn't mean that you're disallowing your beliefs on Jesus.
Right.
Yeah. I think you can have both and it's okay.
Right. And, I think there is a element of it where you begin to judge or alienate or right
Yeah.
start to push your thoughts about what you should or shouldn't do onto
you can't do that on
anyone else.
People. No,
yeah.
You can't. You can believe whatever you want, but if you push your stuff or your thoughts or opinions on someone else, it's just going to turn them off.
Right. Well, and this is what and then I'm like, well, how do you manage that?
Yeah.
When you have a person like that in the family and who may be still involved and then also may be very judgy or very opinionated about what you should or shouldn't do based on their beliefs, right? Which you already know, you have no problem dealing with that, but some people might not.
Yeah.
They might have a harder time handling that or knowing what to do with that, right? And I
think that's where you have to just decide that you're just going to let it go.
Well, there's always killing it with kindness too.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
I respect you. Can you respect me?
Yes.
Oh God. That's turning the table, right?
Yeah.
A little bit to where you kind of just, yeah. Anyway. Okay. Did we cover everything?
I don't know. Maybe.
Did we do the thing?
Do we do the thing?
Did we do it? Did we do it? What do you got going on today?
Today it's right before Thanksgiving, so work is a little crazy. Already went and did an appointment this morning before this and gonna work. And then tomorrow I'm working I think I'm only working till 4:00, which is great. And then I'm gonna be cooking.
Yeah,
we're not doing
I'm
traditional
excited.
Thanksgiving this year. We are doing like everybody picks something you like, and that's what we're making.
Excellent.
Which it is turkey and ham, but like sides.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Green bean casserole, who likes green bean casserole? That's the nastiest crap in the entire universe.
Depends on how you make it, because most people make it like shite.
Oh, no, it's milk, cream of mushroom soup, and then French onions on top. And that is
not how you make it.
But that is the traditional green bean casserole.
No, somebody told you that lie.
No, it's on the back of the French onion can.
That's disgusting. That's not how you make it.
It is so gross.
It is so gross. We kind of did the same thing too, where I was just like, what do you guys have to have?
Yes,
like
that's what I did.
You tell me what you have to have, like what makes you Thanksgiving, dinner. And then we kind of worked backwards from there too.
Yep.
So I am not doing a whole lot today. I have to teach class this afternoon. And then I have
Okay.
a couple clients here and there. But Thursday I woke up with a flat tire.
Yep.
I went and picked up the car and the battery didn't work. Literally same freaking day. Same effing day. And now I call it my car is on exciting mode. So like I don't know if it's gonna start or not. I don't know. It's kind of like surprise, it started. Yay. So
It's a lottery.
I need to go get that handled
Yeah.
today so I have a better week next week and don't have
Right.
to be on exciting mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprise battery mode all the
Mhm.
time. So anyway,
Yep.
all right. Well,
Cool.
anything else we should share about holidays?
Holidays. Nope. I think you should celebrate your holiday however you see fit.
Absolutely.
Like, have fun with it. Like, make memories. Like, seriously, I think the holidays, the best thing about the holidays is making memories.
Yes.
Making good
Creating
memories. We're not all going to be here forever. So, enjoy the memories you
the
can
little
make.
moments. Yep.
Yes, the moments, the memories, and enjoy your family and the people you can be with. And
Yes. Kiss them, hug them, love them.
yes,
Call them George.
because you never know if it could be their last, which
Absolutely.
is kind of a depressing note to leave on, but it's actual
Well,
fact.
we're all getting there. It's just a matter of when. So
Yep.
time is precious, and this is a time you get to probably spend more time with people you love. So
Yes.
use it.
Yes. Use it.
Don't abuse it.
Well, hopefully a lot of people get to be off work, which is nice to,
Hopefully.
hang with your family or, your friends. A lot of people can't get to their family, so hang out with your
Friendsgivings. Yep.
Friendsgivings. Have a good holiday. By the time this airs on Spotify and YouTube, or on Spotify
It will probably be
and
past.
Apple, it will be past Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
But yes, so for Christmas, do these things.
Same.
You're watching on YouTube. Hey, how do people watch on YouTube, by the way? Because I was asked that question and
Sisters Declassified. So it's on the channel. You're gonna have to go to our account, our Sisters Declassified, right?
Okay, so it's just Sisters Declassified.
Actually, it's at Elizabeth Humble. I did not do that. That was you.
No.
Yes.
You've done only all the YouTube.
I did the YouTube. You set up the account though with Sisters Declassified email, and that goes to at Elizabeth Humble.
Oh, okay. I did set up the email. Okay, so that's what it is. At Elizabeth Humble.
At Elizabeth Humble on
We'll
YouTube.
see if we can change that, but that's how you watch us on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. All right.
All right. I love you.
Keep in mind, I love you too.
Bye, everybody.
Yell at us, Sisters Declassified, Gmail, Sisters Declassified
at gmail.com. Yes.
All right.